Here's a problem that's telling us that g of x is a function with the given intercepts. You've seen I've drawn it here to the right. Find the intercepts of these things if possible. So g of negative x, you remember what negative in with the x does. I always think of x squared. If I put a negative in with the x, well, x squared is just a parabola. Put a negative inside, it really doesn't do anything to it. So it actually flipped it, but you didn't notice it because it flipped it over the y-axis. So this right here flips it over the y-axis, flips over y-axis, which means this point right here turns into 4, 0. This point right here turns into 1, 0 because it flips over the axis. And this point right here doesn't do anything, 0, 8, because it doesn't have anywhere to flip. So your intercepts would be 1, 0, 4, 0, and 0, 8. If you do 3 halves gx, 3 halves on the outside is a stretching in the vertical direction. So it's a vertical stretch. It means that every point gets stretched vertically.
Okay.
Which for these, well, let me change the color there. Which for these two right here, -4, 0, and -1, 0, stretching vertically is that y coordinate there. And since those are both 0, 0 times 3 halves doesn't do anything. So those stay the same. -4, 0, -1, 0. And this right here, that 0, 8, 8 gets multiplied by 3 halves, which turns into 12. So your point is 0, 12. Those are your 3 intercepts for that example. For this next example, letter C, you'll notice that what I'm doing is moving this right here, moves it right to. Anytime it's inside the parentheses, it has a horizontal change, and anytime it's outside the parentheses, it has a vertical change. And that horizontal change right there moves it right to. So this point turns into -2, 0, because I moved it right to. This point turns into +1, 0. And I can't find, this point moves 2 to the right, but it's no longer the intercept.
Yeah.
And I don't know really what the other intercept is. So the other one is the y-intercept. I don't know. I can't figure out what the y-intercept is for that example.
So.
All right. So this last thing, if I multiply the x by 1/2, that's a horizontal stretch. It's a horizontal stretch. But what you have to do, similar to what you do to here, when it was subtracting, you actually went to the right.
Oh, so
it's the opposite. Yeah,
oh.
It's the opposite that you would think. You're not going to multiply the x by 1/2. You're going to flip it. You're going to multiply the x by 2. So you multiply all the x values by 2.
Okay.
So for this one right here, if I multiply the x value by 2, that's gonna turn into -8, 0. That's a stretch. See how it's stretching it left?
Mm-hmm.
This value right here, if I multiply it by by 2 rather, it's going to become -2, 0. And this one right here, if I multiply it by 2, I still have 0. So I still have 0, 8.
Okay.
So those are your 3 points if you multiply the x value by 1/2.
So what is the